Hi, I'm Heinbach. It's good to have you back. This is the VESTAX Faderboard, a sampler released in 2003 as a result of a cooperation between Vestax and Korg. It offers a truly unique approach to sampling that feels fresh almost 20 years later. But you've probably never heard of it, and me neither until I stumbled upon it on Reverb. It was so ahead of its time that it left the intended audience befuddled and quickly disappeared from the market. To me, it immediately became an essential instrument because it does many things that no other sampler does to this day. From the specs, the Faderboard is not exciting at all in 2021. It only has 30 seconds of record time, and that at 44.1 kHz with 16-bit in mono. There's no multi-sampling. It uses a slow, smart media card system for backups, and the presets are so firmly early 2000s that it will take at least until 2025 until they're cool again. What makes it special as an instrument is the interface. Instead of playing samples with a keyboard or pads, you play them with faders. You can switch between octaves. Choose different scales. And play chords with this little button row. The master fader is especially helpful when you're playing chords. There are 3 different types of settings for the faders, each suitable for a different style of playing. While I ripped on the presets before, this one, the very first one, is one that I like, and there are a few others that I think are very useful today. Presets, schmisets, you get a hardware sampler to sample your own sound. And let me show you how this works. You sample into a bank with a maximum recording time of 30 seconds overall. The process is simple enough. Connect an input signal to the RCA ins on the back, and there you can see the DJ background that this has. Set it to line or mic, or use the phono jacks to rip directly from a turntable. Then you hit record, adjust the level. Too much. Record. Cool. And now you can test the sound. It's pretty nice. So now you can adjust the start point and the end point. You can reverse it, so it comes in backwards. We'll make it really short. I think in this case I want the whole range. So I hit save and save it to a location. So let's do preset number 6 maybe. I don't think I have anything there. We hit enter and then it saves, which will take a while. This is for just a 15-second file. So it takes longer to save it than to record it. But it does sound super nice. And I love when you've got these longer loops where there's something happening and you set to different faders, they will play off each other. Because it's automatically looping the note. That was one note from my piano with me trying to sing over it, record it onto a tape machine and onto here. I like to sample through tape for added texture. And I made a video on that actually that you can check out here. The sampling process is easy and rather intuitive, but that's also its downside because there's no multi-sampling. You can't set a different sound per fader. It's always one sample spread across the keyboard according to the scale here. And the scale can't even be chromatic because you only have 10 faders. But the start and end sliders are fantastic and they give you nice experimental options as they're very playable. The effects on here are not fantastic, but they've got their own charm. The reverb is more like a bunch of delays put together. And that can be nice if you're going for unnatural. All the other effects, especially phaser and flanger, are super blown out. Maybe because they're meant for DJs, where you want a very upfront effect. Subtle is hard to do, but I really like the filter because that adds some nice distortions when used carefully. So that is actually very useful in shaping the sound and adding life to what is after all a static sample. The effects are not safe with the presets, so you have to write down if you want to recall a certain setting for a certain patch. But that's also a plus because it's very hands-on. What you see is what you get. Whatever is said here is what is happening. And that is true for all the settings, such as the master EQ, the monitor level and the master. Speaking of recall, when you start saving stuff to the smart media card, you will also need to write down where you saved something, because all you got to go on what's in the patch is this 3-digit display. I'm gonna save this sound onto the smart media card now. So hit save. Then I select a bank that's free. This bracket means this bank is not free, but this bank is free. I'm gonna hit enter. Now it's saving. And they use this as a nice animation. Done. That was fast. But now let's try and load that sample. Load, all, and enter. So this takes quite a while. And if you're playing a live set and you have noted down where you've written what, and you suddenly load the wrong sound, this is bad. Now these are a lot of limitations, especially from a 2021 point, but why do I still think that this is an amazing instrument, and why am I in love with this? Well, it's the playfulness. I've been a long-time fan of playing instruments with faders. My whole mixing desk is an instrument. I route all the things there, and I play even chords by routing different synthesizers on different faders. The first instrument I designed myself, Fundamental, was designed to be played with faders, especially with slow evolving ambient parts. Faders are just a beautiful way to go about this. I think if something like this in updated form was released today, it would be an absolute success. But why did it fail when it came out? I've got some theories about that. The man behind the design of the Faderboard is a turntablism genius. It's Japanese DJ Shing02. In the few demo videos you see of him on the Faderboard, he plays it like Mozart. Using it basically as a keyboard replacement. And I couldn't play that fast. Like, this is very highly skilled work, and I think a keyboard can do that much more easily. In the comments to a 2007 article on the Faderboard, when this was already forgotten, Shingo said, "The main physical advantage of having faders is that from the long history of scratching and mixing, DJs and hip-hop oriented musicians have applied the fader to create percussive sounds. Scratching can even be expressed as notation. The Faderboard provides durable DJ quality faders that can take the abuse that normal faders on mixing and MIDI consoles probably aren't designed for. Secondly, the reason for demonstrating playing melodies, etc. is to show that the Faderboard is capable for setting a root key in a certain scale. Therefore, once you're locked in the scale, you cannot fall off, which is great for beginners who are lost in front of a keyboard layout. If you are a seasoned musician, that may seem like a curse." He's kinda right in that. Lastly, the interface isn't meant to replace any other technology. It is there for people who want to try new methods, aka have fun. Most kids who try it end up doing ambient experimental things with sampled loops, etc., not just simple melodies and beat juggling. There are many features that didn't make it in the first model. We hope to put together an upgraded version in the near future. That sadly never happened, as far as I know. Users ended up using this for experimental and ambient purposes. So it would have been cool to maybe get that idea in the focus of the marketing team. But of course, Vestax is a DJ company, and experimental ambient is not really their marketing focus. So they were probably thinking about DJs playing this together with their set and doing some wizardry with it, which is kind of a narrow market. So I think they didn't know what they have with this absolutely beautiful instrument. To Shingo, I can only say thank you for making this, and if you ever get around to making a Mark II version, hit me up. I'm definitely interested. I use the Faderboard in my new live show. I've got a big one called Schlaufenzeit, which requires an endless amount of gear, but I need something travelable to go around the world once it's possible again, or just for smaller gigs. So I recorded all my 1950s vacuum tube test equipment and instruments on here, and now I can play them polyphonically and create beautiful mashups that I could never do before. If you're on my Patreon, you get a sound pack with some of these tape-recorded 1950s vacuum tube instruments. I know some of you have eBay and Reverb already open while you're listening to this video. These things fetch a pretty penny. I paid 500 euros plus shipping from Japan. And even if only a few of you agree with me that this is an awesome instrument, that price might go up even more. And they're super rare. So how can you realize something like this today? Well, I would say you can do most of this with the MIDI controller and Ableton Live. I know from previous experience that some of you are supremely talented in designing Max for Live or live devices. So if you end up making a Faderboard 2021, hit me up and I'm going to sticky a link in the comments and I'm going to put it on the subreddit. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, let's see you in the next one. Bye.